everybody, and welcome back to Spiderversity. This is the show where Sal and I talk about Spider-Man. I'm your host, DJ Wooldridge. With me, as always, is Sal from Comic Pop. How you doing, Sal?
I'm good, man. I'm real excited about this one.
Ooh, the kids have been waiting and with bated breath ever since we started the show. Ooh, golly gosh, gee whiz. When are you guys going to get to Chex Notes Spider-Man Unlimited? And the answer to that question is now. It is now. So for people that are just, for some reason, this is your first Spiderversity episode, welcome. This is a Patreon exclusive show, so unless I release this as like a little taste, thank you for being a patron. But Sal and I have done it all. We've done all the Tobey Maguire movies. We've done all the Andrew Garfield movies. We've done Tom Holland. We've done the Spider-Man animated series and Spectacular Spider-Man. And now we're in the weeds now. We're
plumbing the depths of Spider-Man media.
Yeah.
Although we didn't watch any Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. Did we watch any of that?
No, we haven't done. Actually, the truth be told, there's a lot of Spider-Man movies. We haven't done Amazing Friends. Wasn't there another just Spider-Man show on at the same time as that show?
It was its predecessor, 81 Spider-Man. Yeah. And then there was, of course, the 1960s one, 67 Spider-Man.
Where it was basically like the comic panels with like crude motion. Yeah.
Unhinged.
Yeah. Just one step short of where it's the still image, but a human's mouth moving for the...
Yeah, Robert Smigel just making fun of the characters.
Yeah,
it's almost that bad. There is true, actual, genuine animation happening in the Spider-Man show where it was just simply devoid in things like the Thor show or the Captain America show.
Yeah. And the other one, and I don't even know how we would go about this, but I do think there's merit if we get there. The live action Spider-Man show.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how. And eventually we'll get to the Spider-Man Japan, whatever.
Oh, yeah. That'd be kind of fun. I've seen the live action Spider-Man, and let me tell you, I was just disappointment is an understatement when it came to that.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing that happened when I and I actually have quite a bit, like a lot of people, quite a bit of nostalgia and affection for the Bill Bixby, Lou Ferrigno Hulk show or the George Reeves Superman show. Any of those shows where I'm like, I like this character, and then you realize as a kid, because you're watching it on reruns, and as a kid you're like, wait, is he not going to fight any supervillains?
Yeah.
Like when you're watching the George Reeves shows, like not even Lex Luthor's going to show up in this show. What's happening?
He doesn't even have powers. It'd be easy to do. It'd be so easy, and they're like,
so
oh, no.
easy. And this gets to, I actually think we stumbled tangent first into a pretty good segue, because when we come to Spider-Man Unlimited, I found my mind drifting of like, how did this happen? What? It was like a precursor to the age we live in with the Madam Webs, where it's like, who thought that this was the way? And here's what I think. I have a theory, Sal, and here's what I think it is. Obviously, a lot of things. I've got some notes here.
There is actually a story, because I had to know. I was one of those people. After I finished the 4th episode, I went, okay.
Yeah.
Who's responsible?
Because there's so many baffling decisions here. But I think what it is, I think if we dig through all of it, and we'll get into the specifics before we dive into the show itself, is I think there was a mistaken understanding that Spider-Man is like Batman, in the sense that Batman is one of the few characters that you can kind of do anything with. And it works. And I actually think we're entering an era now where that is less true, where now that fandom has grown so big and started to calcify, that Batman we'll see what they try and do with Batman Brave and the Bold. Considering that title, you'd think it'd be more like, I was just talking to a friend the other day, and they were like, I miss swashbuckling Batman. I miss like fun adventure Batman. And it's like, that could be Brave and the Bold, but it could also be you do that, and then people are like, no, I want the Batman. You know what I mean? I want Dark Knight. But but there was a time the 60s show is beloved, and I think to the point I was making earlier, a villain showed up, actual guys in costumes, which you can do with Batman. And I think that's the secret. I think the secret with the two characters that for the longest time you could do anything with narratively, because they're basically the superhero prototype, are Superman and Batman. But the difference with Batman is you don't have to worry about any powers. And so Batman, for almost inexplicably, it should be Superman. Superman should be the one that like any type of story you can do with. But I think it's more become Batman because Batman has had a longer and stronger media presence and is easier to adapt. That's my theory.
Yes. No, you're absolutely right. Batman is easier to adapt. I mean, just looking at in the comics, the Elseworlds imprint, how many of them are Batman? Where it's what if Batman, but it's the 1800s? What if it's Batman, but if it's the 1600s? What if it's Batman, but he's a moon person? What if it's Batman, but he's a Frankenstein monster? Like it's just the same damn thing.
Yeah.
Parents are shot in an alley, and Batman becomes Batman with a different costume. Moving on with Spider-Man. Can you go off book?
Yeah.
At least they do stay. They keep everything that is Spider-Man and then go off planet.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's where, and I think that's the problem, is that they even bothered to tease it. If this started on Counter Earth, and they were like, this is Counter Spider-Man, I think people would have had an easier time swallowing it. I never would have given it a shot. When I was a kid.
Well, could you imagine a version of this show? Yeah, and it isn't. But I think to your point, before we get on that, to your point, and I think that's one of the strengths of Marvel in general, and one of the weaknesses here. One of the strengths, especially when Marvel first came out, is their stories were more specific and less archetypal.
Yes.
And that, I think, that allowed audiences to gravitate to them more. In general, and has led to their long-term popularity. However, it does limit, like you said, how far off book can you get with Spider-Man? Because you imagine a version of the show that starts on Counter Earth, totally different. You're like, whoa, what's going on here? And then the Spider-Man we're following that seems like our Peter Parker dies, and then Peter Parker from main Earth shows up, like at the end, like, I just came here to save John, and now I'm the Spider-Man of this Earth.
Totally. Yeah, that would actually be really interesting. That's almost this. This show is a weird decision.
Yes.
Many decisions. And then it's a weird, it's like, I understand, okay, we're in this bed, now let's lie in it.
Yeah.
And then they go like, oh, and let's do this.
Yeah.
Or let's explore this. And I'm like, we'll have to talk about, I'm more just baffled by decisions where it's like, by episode 4, I'm like, Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's weird, and it's interesting. There's so many things going on because it's very in some ways it could not be more 90s, even though I think it's like end of 90s, 2000s, and somehow it looks like about a decade older than the 90s Spider-Man. In some ways, like there's some scenes where like, how did this come after the other one?
Oh no, budget. Like, we're very sensitive to like the budget cuts of a Spider-Man cartoon because we live in a post John Semper Spider-Man world where just reuse scenes and sequences and characters and animation to an obscene degree. Yeah. This was more like, boy, that was you just didn't animate that.
Yeah.
Like they just had a shot and they just move it.
You know what this reminds me of? And I think the other thing is I don't know that this is true, but it wouldn't surprise me if with the 90s Spider-Man cartoon they went back and they're like, this is the beloved one, let's clean it up. Unlimited, they're like, no, just throw the old one up there. Just throw it up there. Nobody's gonna give a shit. Because it reminded me of watching like SWAT Cats on Cartoon Network when I was a kid.
Oh yeah. That's actually really rather prescient because like it's the team that's the people who are making this show. It's Saban, I think.
I think you're right.
And they're also responsible for the horrible looking last season of the X-Men animated series.
Yeah.
And it's funny because like Saban, right? You think Power Rangers, but like they've been doing animation and films for a while. They financed Kevin Smith's worst films.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome.
And it's just like they're constantly making things where I'm like, so like I understand that like, where'd you get the money for this? Like,
Power Rangers.
You're known for making horrible stuff.
Yeah, like, Power Rangers. That's where you get. So this is one of those shows the second I looked at the IMDb description, I'm gonna have to have Sal read these. So I'm gonna give a little bit of the backstory of the show. But if you want to go on IMDb, get those episode descriptions locked and loaded if you don't mind.
Oh hell
if you're open to it.
Yeah, let me pull it up. Let me see here. Episodes. There's 13 of them.
Like Sal, and so for those that don't know, basically, like we talked about, Spider-Man's going off. I don't want to spoil it ahead of time, but for those that are not familiar with Spider-Man Limited, It loosely follow. They definitely want, because they even use a theme in the first episode. They definitely want us to think that this directly follows the 90s cartoon, and that Spider-Man has to go save John Jameson from Counter Earth, where there's bestials, which are human-animal hybrids, and the High Evolutionary, who is the big bad of the show. So classic Spider-Man villain, timely for, Guardians 3 just came out.
Yeah.
And so, like, Sal, I'm watching this, and I knew I'd watch like maybe an episode or something. And I like Sal watching again. I'm like, I gotta know. So this is what I was able to find, and we'll probably do some more digging as we get deeper in the show. But
sure.
And I'm stealing this basically directly from Wikipedia. Forgive me, everybody.
You have to. It's
Initially, the goal was to do a low-budget adaptation of the first 26 issues of the Amazing Spider-Man comic book, but Sony and Marvel had already engaged in a deal to produce the Spider-Man movie, and so Saban was cut from any source and could not use the traditional Spider-Man suit or adapt the early comics. They do use the traditional suit in the first episode. So I don't know.
They do, but it's like it is covered in shadow quite often.
Yeah,
I think they're taking liberties. Like they could argue, no, that's Shadow. He's not wearing the original suit. Like under that.
Yeah.
It's 25% distinct from the original suit.
Also, in the original idea, Spider-Man was stranded in a Counter Earth in which Ben Parker did not die, and thus Peter Parker lacked the moral fortitude to resist becoming Venom. Which would have been if like there was a better use of Venom than the show does. If there was like Peter Venom versus normal Peter and Uncle Ben's around, now you're cooking. You got something there.
That's at least story potential. This is just here's a pile of Toy Biz action figures.
Yes, 100%. We'll get into that more, especially when we get into more about the symbiotes and what they want and what they're doing. Which I don't know that the creators know from episode to episode what they're doing.
I think you're right. Yeah.
However, so back to this, original pitch with Counter Earth Venom. However, Marvel Comics did not like the idea and stated that they would not do a story with two Peter Parkers, classic. And they'll never change their mind on that. There'll only ever be one Spider-Man per movie. The show was made after Marvel decided not to move ahead with a show focusing on Spider-Man 2099, following consideration due to the DC comic show set in the DC animated universe, Batman Beyond, premiering earlier that year, which covered the futuristic setting. So what I understand, there was a weirdly put together sentence, but there was a conversation had, and you can feel this in the DNA of the show, like, hey, Batman Beyond's a hit. Do we want to do Spider-Man 2099? And they're like, never mind, do something else. And so now it's, again, so basically what we're left is the refuse of a bunch of unused ideas. It's not Spider-Man 2099. It's not the original series. It's a bunch of things that it's not.
Yes. And it's just, I think just Saban didn't want to lose the contract.
Yeah.
You can imagine them getting really like amped up for doing the first 26 issues of Amazing Spider-Man. Like that you got the DNA, you got the template, you got everything going, you got all the classic characters, you have like all the rich, fun drama of him being in high school. That would be a lot of fun. Oh my God, that's great. You can't use any of the comic books.
Yeah.
Well, that kind of hamstrings me a little bit, but I think we can manage. What about this? And it's like Counter Earth, evil Peter Parker. No duplicates.
Yeah.
Okay. What about 2099? Just plain no.
Yeah.
And so they're like, okay, well, I mean, at that point, that's like, what that reminds me of? It's the story of Tim Burton in the meeting with Warner Brothers for Batman 3.
Yeah.
Where they're just like, we want you.
Yeah.
But we also think, like, don't you want to, like, make a smaller movie at this point? Like, they're just trying to get him to say that he doesn't want to make Batman 3.
Yeah.
He's like, it feels like you don't want me to make Batman 3. Like, whoa, no one's saying we don't want you to do it.
It's almost like a Edgar Wright Ant-Man situation. Like, wait, I'm starting to think maybe you actually don't want me to do this.
Yeah, and it's like, and Saban's like, well, I will not blink first. Mm-hmm. We'll make the show with the ridiculous parameters that exist that are essentially make a Spider-Man show without any of the things that make Spider-Man who he is.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where you can see when you phrase it like that, you can see the steps of like, okay, so we wanted Counter Earth because we wanted the alternate Peter, but now we're not doing alternate Peter. And so you're left with the detritus of the different ideas, and it feels like nobody stopped and like looked back at the original. See how far they drifted from the original. It's the classic frog in the pot scenario where like, totally. Oh, we're boiling and we haven't. It's just so it was so incremental that we didn't even realize.
Yeah.
So unlike previous series, which used digital ink and paint, the animation on the series was made using traditional cells, which sounds more appealing on paper than it actually turned out.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And several scripts were written for season 2, including the conclusion of the cliffhanger, but were never produced. Spoilers, kids. We're only doing 1 season of the show because it's all that exists.
Yeah, we're good. I don't want to do anymore.
Yeah.
Although it would be kind of fun to get the scripts and be like, all right, so here's what happened.
Yeah. Here's where we're going. So this first episode we're doing is season 1, episode 1, Worlds Apart, part 1, which originally aired on October 2nd, 1999. Sal, it's 1999. They should have done Spider-Man 2099.
Oh my God, what a perfect opportunity.
The only thing you'd have to do is, because I don't believe Peter Parker shows up in 2099, just have an old ass Peter Parker that you say he aged slower because the spider
age slower, yeah.
And then you have a Batman Beyond. You have a Batman Beyond, and you got whatever. Anyway, so Sal, what is the synopsis for the show we did get?
Oh, it's great. When Spider-Man spots his 2 main enemies, Venom and Carnage, hijacking on John Jameson's spaceship on a trip to the mysterious planet Counter-Earth, he fails to stop them, and the 2 symbiote villains go with Jameson to Counter-Earth when the ship crashes and Jameson presumably dies.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
The public then blames Spider-Man for Jameson's seeming death. Spider-Man fakes his own death and lies low for half a year.
Until he gets
a new nanotech costume from Reed Richards and gets another ride to Counter-Earth.
Nice.
End of synopsis.
Very good. Good guy. I was going to say, if we keep going, we're going to not have anything to talk about on this show.
Yeah.
So,
what a terrible description.
Yeah. Well, listen, there's not a lot of quality control for these less loved shows. So we open with John Jameson giving us a big exposition dump, which we need because, again, we're so far adrift from like the normal Spider-Man thing that there's so much setup. And the setup we're given is, okay, fuck, this is crazy. And I have logistical questions I'm going to have to ask you at some point. So probe was used, they say warp drive, but it's sent through a warp gate. So I was immediately confused by that. So was it the drive or the gate? Is this a Stargate situation or a Star Trek situation? What are we doing?
I think you need warp in order to get to the gate, but they built a little warp gate that gets you from one side of the sun to the other.
And also
essentially, yeah.
And I understand that like this is in fact the distances in space are unfathomable.
Right.
Is it that? Do we need a warp drive to get to the other side of this? I guess in the time frame, in the time frame we're talking about in this show.
Yeah.
If we don't want to take,
you need to get because I love when I first heard the concept of a counter Earth. It's like that there's essentially a mirror version of our solar system on the other side of the sun, and I was like, there's no really other side. It's space. It's all dimensions, but whatever. Yeah. I love the idea of being like, I guess we'd never know what's going on the other side of the sun.
Yeah.
That's a fun concept, I guess.
Yeah.
But whatever. So that's the idea.
Here's my question for Counter-Earth, and this is going to be more pertinent later on, but we're talking about right now. Am I to understand within the parameters of this show, is Counter-Earth just an another planet that has a separate evolutionary track from ours, or is it somehow a parallel Earth to where there are copies of, not necessarily, because we don't run into like doppelgangers so much.
No, it's weird because I thought we would.
Yeah.
Especially as a kid, when I was watching the show, I'm like, oh, counter Earth, right. Parallel Earth, like Earth 2.
Yeah.
We're going to have like alternate versions of the characters. No, just stand-ins. Like, there is a Daily Bugle, but they changed the name.
Yeah, it's a Daily Bite, BYTE.
And there's a douchey editor, but it's not J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah.
But he acts like it.
Yeah.
So it's just like, no, it's more like it's a separate planet. I saw it as like, no, like when the Big Bang happened, it essentially created duplicate circumstances where it is Earth-like.
Yeah.
And human life evolved on that because it's the perfect distance from the sun in order for life to thrive. And humans evolved, and then the High Evolutionary went, how about new men?
Yeah, that's the plot that we're given. That's essentially the plot that we're given here. Let me hit you with this, Sal. See how you respond to this. Think about this. Meteor strikes the dinosaurs, and that creates an alternate dimension where the dinosaurs never went extinct. And they evolved into Bob Hoskins, who now wants to get over to our Earth because we've got all the resources. Think about it. Maybe it's not good for Spider-Man. Maybe it's good for a different iconic character. But let's think about it.
Yeah. Let's noodle that around for a little while.
Yeah,
I feel like it's going to come to us.
Let's bat around. So anyway, they sent a probe to Counter Earth through the warp gate into Counter Earth, and they shot down the probe. And this, for some reason, is viewed as an act of war.
John Jameson is super pissed about it. Like he personally invested money in it because he's like, this aggression.
Yes.
From a planet we literally will never be able to visit without special
technology.
Will not go unpunished. And it's like, dude, like you are declaring war on an entire other Earth.
Yes.
For the act of defending themselves from surveillance.
Yes. That's exactly what's happening.
Messed up. Like that's really weird. John Jameson is always itching for a fight from this until the end of the show.
Yeah.
That he definitely is asking for that no one is asking to be a part of.
Yes.
And I say leave him there.
Yeah. Let him be,
you
man.
Want to go to Counter Earth so freaking bad?
Yes.
Live there, buddy.
Well, I gotta say, it feels like typically the depiction is J. Jonah Jameson is a real piece of work, right? John Jameson is like his better...
Like the level-headed.
Yeah. This one seemed to like really latch on to this is J. Jonah Jameson's kid, and so he's a fucking asshole. John Jameson's an asshole.
He is a militant version of JJ.
Yeah.
Like, he is like, what if JJ also had access to like military applications?
Which we're going to find later in this episode that maybe JJ does, but we'll get there in a second.
Yeah.
So they shot the probe down. This apparently is enough to go to war over. And Peter Spider-Sense, because he's there with J. Jonah Jameson because JJ loves his son and wants pictures of him or whatever. Sure. And we see Venom and Carnage are there to get on the shuttle, and for some reason that in the episodes we've watched so far they've not explained, they are just goop monsters. If you look in the credits on IMDb, there's like this voice actor plays Eddie Brock / no, it's just Venom.
Yeah,
no Eddie.
I remember. I honestly said this out loud on another show where I was like, they're not like Cletus and Eddie. Like, they're just goop monsters that are Venom and Carnage. And people were like, actually.
Yeah.
Like, people were really upset where they were like, there are men in there. And I'm like,
no.
Well, they can merge and they can separate and they can become two-dimensional. Like, they're either combined with their original hosts, or they are, or it's maybe halfway through the show they forget, and so they put their bodies in there. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like, as far as like the pilot is concerned,
these are goop monsters. And Peter even comments on it. He's like, "Wait, you guys didn't have these powers before." And it's also stupid that their team. That's not. I don't want Venom and Carnage shouldn't be teamed up, man. That's not how that works.
Yeah. No. The idea of them working together. It's just like, this is clearly a show made by people who don't know anything about these characters. Like, it's like they were freed up to like get people, like the Godzilla Matthew Broderick animated show got canceled, and so they're like, well, get them over here, and give them a job, like let them work on this. Or like the Men in Black show got canceled, so like put them on Spider-Man Unlimited. But I don't know anything about that character. It's okay. You're not allowed to, according to them, we're not allowed to use anything about that character anyway.
Except we're not allowed to use anything, except we are obligated to use Venom and Carnage. That was the one note.
Doesn't that feel like Avi Arad to you?
Yes.
At that point, like, you can see the shades of these characters that we're going to see for the next 30 years for some reason.
Yeah.
Boy, did I not expect in 2024 to keep hearing the name Avi Arad and see him involved in things and have him like show up to press junkets wearing Spider-Man wool caps in like sunny Burbank.
Forever, man. Forever till the heat death of the universe. He's going to ride that train till he dies.
Yeah, he is.
So Spider-Man suits up, classic Spider-Man costume, and they even play the 90s animated series theme.
That feels like an afterthought. I think this is set in another universe, and they went, play the original theme. That'll get them.
Yeah, I counterpoint. I think it is meant to be the same universe, but I'm headcanon. It's an alternate universe, and I think in canon, because again, we talked about this when we did Across the Spider-Verse. We see Spider-Man Unlimited costume. We don't see Christopher Daniel Barnes Spider-Man, which I think they're sitting on. So I think as far as Spider-Verse canon is concerned, these are separate Earths, just for all our sakes, please.
Please, for the love of God.
We get a new intro, which I don't hate, in that I like how elegantly the first part of it, where it's like, here are the beats of Spider-Man's origin. And I'm like, that's good. That's a good. And then they have to like, and now he's going to space. It's like, all right, well, this is the part where the show loses it.
Right, which is the show.
This is the show.
It's like they had the storyboards for the intro for the original show, which was going to be the adaptation of Spider-Man.
Yes, yeah, 100%. And I also
they were
think
like, just use that.
They animated like 15 minutes of the first episode, and they're like, "You're not allowed to do this anymore." You're like, oh, okay, well, let's use it for the intro.
Let's use it for the intro.
I even love the little bit where the spider bites him and there's a little nuclear explosion. I'm like, that's good. That's a good little.
That's really cool. I loved it. No, I remember that theme would constantly trick me. I'd be like, oh, right. The show sucks.
Yeah, this show blows. Yeah. So anyway, Spidey fights Venom and Carnage on the side of the rocket, which seems this whole sequence seems insane to me. Like the way he slings onto the ship and the whole fight on the thing. It's like, all right. We learned that Venom and Carnage are after something called the Synoptic.
Yep. This MacGuffin they invent that I don't think know what it is until. And even then, like it came up again in our, like, because we watch them all.
Yeah.
But it came up again later, and I was like, what? Like, I forgot about it.
And for those that are excited to find out what the Synoptic is, and like you said, I think in the bash we watched, I think they explain it, and it somehow makes less sense. It's like this actually is even more confusing than what I imagined.
Yeah, I agree. No, it's true.
Spidey is kicked off the spaceship, and when he lands, he's attacked by soldiers. Excuse me, he's not attacked by soldiers, because JJ thinks Spidey is the one who messed up John's ship. And now, by the way, here's what we've seen: Spider-Man, independently, like nobody's with binoculars seeing him do this. He's fighting Venom and Carnage on the side of the ship. He gets kicked off. Ship, as far as one assumes everybody knows, goes through the portal fine.
Yeah.
The second he hits the ground, JJ thinks he sabotaged the ship and he's murdered his son. I don't know how that information got back to JJ, but somehow it's happened. And now the whole city has turned against Spider-Man. He's saving cats out of trees and then getting pepper sprayed for it. He pulls a woman from the biggest building fire in New York history. He saves a woman from, and the fire department starts hitting him with their hoses.
Yeah, they do.
And they're calling him a murderer.
They want their money.
Yeah.
But yes.
Yeah, because JJ puts a bounty out. That's what happens. He puts a bounty out for if you can give me Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Classic JJ shit. And they're calling him a murderer. And it's like, as far as you all know, this mission went on. He went through the little portal thing. What do you mean murderer? Like,
yeah, no. I think at that point they also say, like, oh, we can't hear. There's no transmission from the shuttle.
Yeah. Oh, we sent a shuttle to where they shot down our satellite and suddenly we can't hear from the shuttle. What could it be?
Yeah, maybe they shot it down.
We didn't do any reconnaissance before. We're like, yeah, I guess we'll just send this one guy over there. Don't worry, the show's going to get crazier from here, by the way.
Yeah.
You know, anytime, and we'll get this to a later episode, anytime the show stops kind of bothering trying to be, it's one of two things. We'll get into, and this will be more of our next episode once we get past this two-parter.
Yeah.
Whenever it's like, hey, we're going to do our version of Spider-Man bullshit, but tweak it, that's fun.
Yes.
Or forget Spider-Man. This is just a 90s cartoon set in an alternate Earth. That is fun. It's when they really try to marry the two that it's like, this doesn't work, my guys. This doesn't work.
I will say there is like a pitch for a show about like freedom fighters on counter Earth fighting the High Evolutionary. Like that'd be an interesting Marvel pitch.
Yeah.
But if Spider-Man wasn't in it, I'd never watch it.
Who could you put in that? Like I started to think like maybe a Silver Surfer, maybe an Adam Warlock. Who would be the guy in that show?
Right, because it has to be a character who can not solve the problem immediately. Silver Surfer should be able to solve the problem without any trouble. Like, unless you depower him and change everything that Silver Surfer is. So essentially, you're doing that no matter what to anyone.
Yeah.
I mean, I was thinking maybe like a fourth of the Fantastic Four, like the Thing or the Human Torch. Like that'd be a fun way to like, because they're space explorers anyway. Maybe they're trying to reach the other four, maybe other interdimensional characters can show up and like go, what's this? Like Annihilus can pop in.
Yeah, even if you had like, let's say it's Johnny Storm gets stuck over there and he makes a new Fantastic Four with alternate, like here's alternate Earth Ghost Rider and alternate Earth Hulk or whatever. And now that's the new Fantastic Four.
Yeah. And you could call the show New Fantastic Four or something. Something like that. I mean, as it stands, Spider-Man just forcing the show to be sometimes kind of Spider-Man-like.
Yeah.
It feels like the show is just constantly at war with itself.
I think the other thing, and I'm reticent to admit this because I kind of want to keep it in my back pocket, but I think there is something in saying Cosmic Spider-Man. Just saying Cosmic Spider-Man, what does that mean? What is that? Wait, is there something there? What is that? You know what I mean? Like, but that's not what this show. That's not what this is.
Interplanetary Spider-Man.
Yeah,
which is not quite the same thing.
Yeah. Anyway, whatever. Sorry. Tangents. I promised there wouldn't be any more. City's turned on Spider-Man. Even the fire department's calling him murder and trying to get him down. The building starts to collapse and he saves the firefighters, but the building collapses on him, and so immediately everybody thinks he died, including MJ. But he arrives home, and MJ. That's right, everybody. MJ's here. This is what's going to be motivating Peter emotionally throughout the show. She pretty much heavy-handedly is like, "Hey, man, fucking quit, fucking cut it out, just be dead."
Right. Also, conspicuously voiced by Jennifer Hale. So the voice of Black Cat is playing MJ in the show.
Yeah. Jennifer Hale also plays
play characters.
Rat Lady. She also plays Rat Lady, who we're getting to.
Lady Vermin.
Vermin. John Jameson gets a message from Counter Earth that's basically like, again, he just wants to blow everybody up.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he's so stoked on it. Peter, so here was the most. This might be in the episodes we watched, Sal. This might be the most baffling part of it to me. So Peter sees this. He just had this conversation with MJ. He's like, maybe Peter Parker can help John Jameson more than Spider-Man can. I was like, okay.
All right. How?
And so then we flash forward 6 months later, and Peter inexplicably went from a photographer to working as part of the launch team on this project to go to an alien world. How did he get this job? J. Jonah Jameson pulled strings for Peter Parker to work on this. And we know Peter's a scientist, but that's not how jobs work. You don't get to just go from being a photographer.
Right.
And then after he just said, maybe Peter can help more, he's like, here's my new Spider-Man suit, thanks to the Fantastic Four. I'm like, you just told us that you were going to try and help us, Peter Parker, and you went and had a whole nother suit made?
Yeah. But also had a whole 6-month adventure as Peter Parker outside of Spider-Man that could be a show about Peter. Not that I would watch that. A Spider-Man-less Peter Parker show. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
But we're watching him be Spider-Man or be Peter Parker, and he becomes a scientist. He must be doing better. Did he marry Mary Jane in that time? Did they move in together? What is the story here? He just leaves.
Yeah. And he doesn't say goodbye to MJ. He's just like, I'm out of here. And that's what if you know that, he's just going to be do a story out of that. But if you know, literally the next scene after he says, I'm not going to be Spider-Man, he becomes Spider-Man again, then just have him say, I know MJ doesn't want me to be Spider-Man, but I got to do one last thing. That's how you get to that point. Or you say he's not, and he's part of the astronaut team. And once he gets to Counter Earth, he's like, now I'm here. Now I need to Spider-Man up.
Good thing that Reed Richards gave me this just in case nano suit.
Or have one of the alien scientists make it for him.
Yes.
Yeah.
But instead, it's just weird and confusing,
dude,
and irresponsible. It's just really messed up that he does these. He's like, oh my, yeah, okay, gets a better job.
Here's a better version of the show. Sorry, guys. I think this is going to be one of those shows where Sal and I keep pitching ourselves better versions of the show. I apologize. Spider-Man Unlimited. It's still a Spider-Man show, but to save John, he works with the Fantastic Four, and Spider-Man and the Fantastic Four go together. So it's basically it's Spider-Man Unlimited, but it is a Spider-Man and the Fantastic Four show on Counter Earth. I'd watch that show.
I would watch that show in a heartbeat. Yeah, him saying, I got this from Reed Richards, I thought, oh man, that would have been fun to see.
Yes. That would have been
But no, don't worry. We'll get you another superhero into this episode.
Yeah. Right. The second. Inexplicably. So here's Peter's big plan. He is somehow, we don't know what his job is on this shuttle mission team or whatever, but he's there.
Science.
Yeah, science. And so his plan is to get this rocket ready, use his new nanotech suit, steal the spaceship that he helped make, that I guess he practiced piloting at some point.
Yeah.
At least get the thing in there. Spider-Man, the thing. I'm really hung up on, if we could have just had a Spider-Man in the Fantastic Four show,
I would love that.
That would have been a
I would
cool
love
show.
That movie. I would love that show. I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm so you don't no more drilling. You hit oil.
Yeah. Anyway, but so he's gonna steal the ship, which is insane.
Yeah.
And who shows up to stop him? None other than Nick Fury.
Nick Fury, top cop of the world, head of S.H.I.E.L.D.,
Yeah.
in his jetpack, dressed like Nick Fury.
Yeah.
Again, not the Nick Fury from the Spider-Man animated series they want you to think is in the same universe.
Yeah.
Completely different Nick Fury. But he's there because he's like, well, Spider-Man might try to destroy this rocket ship just like the other. I don't know what the hell he's doing there. But
Yeah,
he's
why
like,
is he there?
he does say, like, I thought you might try to do one of these. And then Spider-Man's like, come on, I got to help. And he's like, all right,
kid. And I like that we still
there.
haven't like landed on our like model for Nick Fury. Like obviously this is different from because the ultimate Nick Fury hadn't been introduced yet in the comics.
Correct.
This is not the Samuel L. Jackson Nick Fury, but even this version of Nick, like the voice is very different. It's like, okay, so we haven't like really landed on a like standard Nick Fury depiction in media.
And I wonder
yet.
how long before the Nick Fury David Hasselhoff show or TV movie.
I think it would have to be. I want to say that was like 95 or 96.
Yeah, it was 98. So it was
1 year prior.
Year prior, and this is a Marvel Studios production. So maybe they are trying to they're like do kind of a legally distinct David Hasselhoff impression.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, like trying to link them up a little bit.
Wait, is there any part of you that when we do Secret Wars, the MCU Secret Wars, and like everybody shows up, that we get a David Hasselhoff Nick Fury?
I think we're going to get a reference to it because it's not. I don't know.
Okay. All right.
I wonder, because I feel like if any of the infamous ones are going to get any kind of play,
Yeah.
the strongest contender would be the Fantastic Four Roger Corman movie.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're even going to do that one because of how like mired it is in like in gritty Hollywood graft.
And also not to be this guy. How old are those actors at this point? I can't remember. They have to. Some of them might not be around anymore.
They're all no. They're all alive. They're all and they all look pretty good.
Yeah.
They all want someone to acknowledge that movie.
Please. Yeah, man. But see, and the other problem with that though is, as funny as it is to say that stuff, you start getting precariously close to the Flash movie. And so it's like, maybe not, man. Maybe not. Maybe not.
At some point when they're like, oh man, and Nicolas Cage is going to show up and, Jennifer Garner and we'll get like the dude who played Dr. Doom from the Fantastic Four movie and Roger Corman.
Yeah.
And wait. No.
Yeah, don't do
Let's
any
not
of that.
do any of those things. How about 3 Spider-Men?
Yep.
And Wolverine.
And a Hugh Jackman Wolverine, and then we're good. We're off to the races.
We're good, right?
Yeah. And then you bring back you
Chris Evans and
RDJ for one more movie, of course,
And that's the movie, right? It's just an apology for not connecting these circles in 2013.
Yeah. Because I hate to be that guy, but it's like, RDJ, Hugh Jackman, and Tobey Maguire in a room together talking. Like that's gonna
I'm gonna watch that.
That's gonna give me some endorphins or whatever. Okay, so yeah, Nick Fury, you described it perfectly. Sally shows up, don't do this, and Spider-Man's like, I got him. He's like, okay, kid, wink with the one good eye. Right. And so Spider-Man steals a ship, which is just like, that's not your skill set, dude.
No.
Oh my God, this is fucking. I forgot how the next 2 episodes we do, 3 and 4, kind of got me a little. Not that they're good, but they got me a little bit more forgiving of the show. I forgot how like fucking bonkers these first 2 episodes are. So Spider-Man in the cockpit of the ship, his little doodly bop comes up so you can see his mouth, and he's like, "Hey, everybody!" He does like a public announcement, that I guess is going off on airwaves or something. I don't know. Hey, I'm Spider-Man, and even though I'm stealing your ship, I'm doing it to clear my name. Not letting anybody else do this but me. All right.
Yep.
Oh, no. Wait, if Peter Parker also vanishes, that might get somebody suspicious. Hey, by the way, Peter Parker's here. I'm Peter Parker. I'm here too. And I'm helping. Good.
Yeah.
Well, now that that's taken care of.
That's such a horrible. Can you imagine being Mary Jane and finding that out at the same time? Like just being like, what? But yeah, that
dude.
sucks.
Yeah.
No one's gonna buy that. And then in later shows, he's like, if John finds out that Peter Parker and Spider-Man are here, then he might like figure it out and tell Jameson. And I'm like,
what? My dude, there's a good chance you're never getting off this planet. I think it's okay that John finds out.
Yeah. First of all, you're never going home.
Yeah.
In the canon of this show. Secondly, when if all goes well and you do return, they're going to tell you that he was there too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, you have a life as Peter Parker there who is taking photos and getting credit.
Yes. On Counter Earth. If I were Mary Jane and I found out through the news, Spider-Man left the planet.
The planet.
And then on the same announcement, Peter Parker just announced he's going to. Oh, I'm believing this guy. Because not only did he leave me without telling, but that's the dumbest cover.
Yeah.
Why would he think that would work?
Right. He just left me holding the bag.
Fucking stupid. Okay, so he does this public announcement. He looks at a picture of MJ and he reminds the picture of MJ about the Great Power Line in case the picture of MJ had forgotten. It looks. He gets to Counter Earth. He's about ready to crash on reentry because of course he fucking is. What the fuck did he think was going to happen? He's saved by robots. We will find out that these robots are called Machine Men, which on paper, or if anybody's familiar with the Marvel character Machine Man. I wish the design was a little bit closer to this. Something fun could have been here. Maybe there's an episode where we get a Machine Man off of this. I don't think there is. And if we don't, that's kind of a bummer. That's kind of a missed opportunity, in my opinion.
I agree.
The Machine Men stop him, and they literally like land his like fucking jet thing, not on the ground, but like on a building, which is weird, but whatever. The Bestials show up. That's right. We got animal people on this show. They show up because perhaps Spider-Man is one of them because he calls himself Spider-Man, which you're like, that seems like nonsense. Except one of them's Sir Ram, and one of them's like Lady Vermin. So the Spider-Man's not too far off the brand here on this planet.
Exactly.
What if there's another Ram? Or like, is it the Ram family? Are you all the family of the Ram?
Is he the only Ram there? I mean, yeah. I know.
Also, there's a bear lady who has a Russian accent for reasons that I cannot explain. I don't know why.
Maybe it's like an Ursa Major reference from there's a bear man from the Red Guardians or something like that from Russia.
Yeah, maybe. Sure. Why not? I just don't know how. Is there a Russia on this one? Again, it's a little bit weird. The nature of Counter Earth is weird to me. So there's a big chase through the city. Spider-Man has a line like, "What is this? The Manhattan Island of Dr. Moreau?" Yuck.
That was a funny reference. It takes some work to get there, but yeah.
Sure. I mean, that seems like it seems like a joke Spider-Man would make in this situation, in this outlandish situation that he's in.
Yes.
Rubble's falling. He grabs a girl and saves her, and he's like, "I couldn't bear it to see something happen to you." And at first I was like, wait, am I supposed to understand Spider-Man's flirting with this underage girl? And then I'm like, oh, maybe it's supposed to be a pun because animals and bear, but she's not a bear. She's a human. Because to catch you guys up, basically what we learned, Spider-Man even has a line like, all right, what did we learn here? And what we learn is we're on another planet where there's animal people, and then there's people, which, by the way, seems a little bit biased. He's like normal people. I'm like, well, maybe they're not normal on this planet, okay? Just because this is where your people look like on your world doesn't make them normal here, except we learned that they are. That's the Bestials came second. But anyway.
Exactly.
A show like this, here's another reason that if you did the same type of show with Batman, it would work because you got Commandi right there. Like that's you got an easy anyway, whatever.
Yeah. I mean the Batman Brave and the Bold cartoon show showed you because he teams up with a million different characters. He goes to like different planets and back in time. Yeah. And it's just like, it's just Batman in different time. I mean, Batman going to like the Commandi Last Boy on Earth period. Like that's a show. Yeah.
Anyway, it's not a Spider-Man show, but it is a show.
No, it's not.
Anyway, and he's like, okay, so normal people are down in these slums being oppressed by the animal people. There's a joke, by the way, that like, and what turns out to be a running gag is that Lady Vermin likes to flirt with Spider-Man, and he's grossed out because she's a rat lady. But that's, again, bias here because it doesn't seem to bother anybody else that she's a rat lady. Like in the bestial realm, she's just a lady.
Right? And like, I think someone like a regular person on Counter Earth would love to be like a concubine of one of the bestial, one of the Knights of Wundagore.
Hey, listen, man, there's a whole community, subculture on this planet that would love to be on Counter Earth.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh Yeah, they'd definitely be they'd feel at home there.
No shade, you know what I mean?
I
No
should
shade.
also point out that Lady Vermin is voicing the same woman that is his girlfriend back on regular Earth. So
Who was also Black Cat, and you can tell. Like the second I heard that voice, I'm like, this lady was in the original animated series.
Well, this is like her decade. Jennifer Hale is literally in every show. Like it starts with Where on Earth is Carmen Sandiego, and then you're off to the races. Like there is, if you have a cast of characters and there are at least 2 women, one of them it will be Jennifer Hale.
Wait, is she Carmen Sandiego?
She's Ivy, the protagonist against Carmen Sandiego.
Oh, I was gonna say if she's Carmen Sandiego, that tells me that Jennifer Hale's a type, which is like, do you have a hot girl? That's Jennifer Hale.
Yeah, no, it's more like if you have she could play it all, but like she could be a protagonist. She could also be a sultry lady. I think she likes doing that. Yeah. Obviously, based on her Felicia Hardy impression, it's just like yeah. She leans into it because she's basically being that with Lady Vermin.
Exactly.
Yeah, and they don't forget it. It's like a running gag throughout the show. Like, don't forget, Lady Vermin wants to fuck Spider.
Yeah, and also missed opportunity to have like alternate Black Cat that is a cat lady.
I think they were like, no. I can imagine them in the room where they're like, okay, fine.
That's too good an idea. That's too good an idea.
Like, no, that works too well, and these people don't want us to do Spider-Man, right?
Yeah, is there an element of that in this show where they're like, fuck it,
like
fine, all right, we're gonna make a Spider-Man show that definitely doesn't work, that we just does not on any level really work. But anyway, the Bestials capture Spider-Man and they're about ready to autopsy him, which leads us into season 1, episode 2, Worlds Apart, part 2. Sal, what's the IMDb synopsis of this episode?
For episode 2, Worlds Apart, is this part 2?
Part 2,
Spider-Man reaches his destination on Encounter Earth and finds out that John Jameson survived the crash. He has become a member of a rebellion fighting against the forces of the High Evolutionary, a figurehead who hates humans and creates animal-mutant hybrids called Bestials. Spider-Man then joins the group and moves in with a single mother, Dr. Naoko Yamada-Jones.
Yep, he does.
And her son, Shane Jones.
There we go. So that's
episode 3.
Yeah. So on High Evolutionary, we get to see High Evolutionary. Little bummed that
he doesn't look like it.
Yeah, you know what he looks like to me? He looks like a very Kirby-esque. What is it? High Father on New Genesis.
Yeah. He looks like somebody.
Yeah.
And at Marvel, I'm like trying to figure out what it is. But it ain't the High Evolutionary.
It ain't the High Evolutionary. You know, I was a little bummed in Guardians. There's that scene, I think it's Rocket or somebody else scratches up High Evolutionary's face, and I expected him to pull off the, it's the actor's face, but I expected him to, like, do that, and it'd be the classic, like, robot face. And they didn't. And it's like, I still want, I want, with the little fin head, like, go do the whole shebang. I want to see the whole... We'll get there. Hopefully he'll come back again because that's, I think, one of the best villains that... I was going to say one of the best villains in the recent movies. I'm like, that kind of makes him one of the best villains in the entire MCU.
Easily, yeah. He also is one of the most alive.
Yeah. Also true. Dude, what do we have for villains in the MCU? It's like High Evolutionary and I'm not talking about live. I'm just talking about quality. And Killmonger. And
Justin Hammer.
Justin Hammer's good. I like Rockwell a lot. That's kind of
thankfully. They could just recast Red Skull.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Because he's it's the makeup and everything. You could do whatever.
Right. And
and of course,
Doom is coming.
Yeah, Doom is coming, and of course, like I know he's not really a villain now, but for a long time he was. Loki was clearly the high watermark for villains in the MCU.
Easily.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No. I remember. It's funny. There's a quick Loki story I love. When my wife was working as a nanny, one of the kids she sat for was like it was early, like I think it was Avengers. She saw the Avengers and she's like, "Oh, you saw Avengers? How'd you like it?" She goes, "I like Loki's smile."
Okay.
That's watch out.
Yeah. Loki's gotten a lot of mileage with the ladies. Not that that's what that situation is, but a lot of people like Loki's smile.
Yeah,
it's Tom Hiddleston. He's great. I get it.
Yeah.
So anyway, the High Evolutionary is overseeing the surgery, and now time for backstory. We find out the Evolutionary found Counter Earth. Am I to understand that he's a normal Earth or a regular Earth person?
I think so. I mean, well, in the original continuity, the High Evolutionary is just some guy.
Okay.
From Earth, who's just sick of it. And it's like a rival / student of Nathaniel Essex, by the way.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
all right.
Yeah, I think he was just like, I'm sick of it, so I'll go to Counter Earth. And he's like, crap, they're stupid here too. Well, I'm here, so animals now.
Animal people. And that's what he does. He decides to make beast men for a better world. I don't quite know how that math adds, how if I make beast people, that will be better. I'm not quite sure on the math there, but sure, fine.
He calls them the Knights of Wundagore. There ain't no Wundagore mountain on this planet, man.
What is his relationship with Wundagore?
He set up shop there.
On main Earth.
On regular Earth, on real Earth, he set up shop on Wundagore Mountain, which is also like a hotbed for like demon activity. Like Cthon also set up shop there, and
that's the weird part of it, because of course, you know, for general audiences and for me, that's not like hip deep on Wundagore lore. We got Wundagore in Multiverse of Madness, and we got High Evolutionary and Guardians, and ne'er the twain shall meet so far. Although again, if you do what I keep recommending and say, let's just say Kang's done.
Yep.
And Wundagore was a big part of Multiverse of Madness. High Evolutionary is the best villain we got. Maybe he could come to our Earth and set up shop there, and we bingo bango, we got something cooking. Is my thing.
Cooking, right? Come on.
But nobody's.
Or say that he did go to Earth first.
Yeah. Well, I think he's got a perfect excuse to go to Earth now because he's pissy at Peter Quill.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Beast People, whatever. Spider-Man escapes. Classic Spider-Man shenanigans. He escapes and he runs into Jim Lee's Wildcats, which is he runs into this group of revolutionaries, but it's clearly like one of them
heavily inspired.
Yeah, one of them's. There's this guy, I have him in, Git Hoskins, I think is the character's name. That is, what if I actually am a sucker for this design because I like the Invisible Man, Negative Man design, the bandage design. But it's like, what if that plus Grifter plus Vash the Stampede from Trigun? And I'm like, I like those are all flavors I like. Let's see what this guy's about. One of them, we talked about this before we went on air. One of them looks exactly like Elsa Bloodstone, but don't get excited, is not that character.
But it isn't. It just isn't. Weird. Yeah.
Again, and now I wonder, based on what you said, if they're like, what if Elsa Bloodstone is it? That Elsa Bloodstone, that might be something. Yeah. Oh, that might be something. Let's not do it. It's like, fuck, come on, man.
Yeah. We got a note from Arad. Apparently, we can literally use any other Marvel character except for Spider-Man. Yeah. It's like, well, we won't.
Because they won't let us use the Spider-Man characters.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's like the literal cast of Madam Web, who are like, I thought I was making a Marvel movie. And I'm making a Sony movie instead, and they let me think that, which is why we all fired our publicists the minute that this movie came out. So these people are like, no, I'm literally in this office today because I was promised I was going to make the first 26 issues of Spider-Man.
Yep.
Well, I'm not doing that.
You just made me think of something that it just left my brain, but it was the it was about, have we talked about how I find it kind of upsetting that nobody seems to understand why Madam Web didn't do well? Like they're like, could it be superhero fatigue? And I'm like, I'm not saying superhero
or the
fatigue.
Fact that it's women? Like,
no. It's because it's bad. Do you guys not? Well, we put superheroes in it. That should make us money. No, you understand. Wait, you don't. You guys really don't know what makes something bad, do you? You look at
No, they don't.
You look at Madam Web and you look at Spider-Man: No Way Home, and you're like, well, these are the same, right?
Yeah.
Do you really not see the differences?
Yeah, these are stock option writers. Like, these are people who like don't even look at the final product. They're like you know that movie Moneyball? They're like Jonah Hill's character, but if he didn't love baseball. It's like everything that I see, like when I hear Sydney Sweeney, I don't see the actor. I see like numbers. I just see like what her box office performance is.
It's like looking into the Matrix. They just see like whatever, but they don't know how to read it. They just think they do.
Right. Yeah. It's as gibberish to them as it is to us, but they're acting like they're the operator in the Matrix.
And that's the thing that bums me out, man. I'm bummed that like, no, they didn't. The one that actually, this is more true to Dakota Johnson, because like, let's say if I was in like Sydney Sweeney's life and she's like, they're offering me Julia Carpenter for Spider-Woman. I'm like, oh, Julia Carpenter's great. Like, I have a lot of affection. That was the Spider-Woman when I was growing up. That Jessica Drew was out, Julia Carpenter was in, and like, or Anna or whatever. I could see like being tricked. But if I was in Dakota Johnson's life and it's like, oh, Madam Web, don't do that. Don't do that. I can tell you, don't do that. That's not
Quick
a good
Google. She's like, no,
don't do that. God. Anyway, whatever. So Spider-Man's teamed up with the Wildcats, trying to escape the Machine Men, and I should stop referring to it that way because that sentence makes this show sound way cooler than it is.
And by the way, I think there is a Wildcats show either happening right now or right before this.
Yeah.
And it is as unwatchable as this show, but at least there's Wildcats in it.
Yeah, it's so wild, and I think the answer to this is obviously it's the comic book boom or whatever. But I think when it comes to finding out that there was a Mortal Kombat animated series and a Wildcats animated series and a Savage Dragon animated series, Spawn's a little different because that actually was an adult oriented cartoon.
It was an HBO show.
Yeah.
The Mask was an MTV attempt, but they were making them. Like there was a big guy in Rusty from Frank Miller animated show. The Tick had multiple seasons.
The Tick, and I think that is more Ninja Turtles because the Ninja Turtles comic was so violent, but then the animated series was kid friendly, and I think that's what allowed them Wildcats isn't a kid brand, but we can make it one. You know what I mean? Like
totally. Well, I mean,
and X-Men the animated series. Like, what am I thinking?
X-Men the animated series blew up, and it also has the Toy Biz marketing behind it. But even then, it's funny. Playmates made the Ninja Turtles figures and the Tick figures, and I assume that that Playmates came to Ben Edlund and was like, we want to make action figures of the Tick.
Yeah.
Let's make a show. And they ended up actually making a really good show because Edlund is an insane person who isn't just going to sign an endorsement check.
Yeah.
But Wildcats, they didn't use McFarlane, which I was like, what? So, and it might have been Playmates, but yeah, Wildcats just a toy commercial as well.
Yeah, and the Tick, I would argue, is just a strong brand because even though I haven't read the comic, I remember the animated series a lot of kid, and that live action one they did on Amazon was actually quite good. So there's just some mileage with the Tick.
Totally. No, I love the Tick. He's behind me.
He's right there. He's right there. Look at.
I got my talking Tick right behind me. Yeah.
So anyway, it looks like the Knights of Wundagore are using Spider-Man to lead them to the Resistance, which is this is just confusing, but it's just the leader action scene later. And you know who we find out John Jameson is the leader of the Resistance.
That was fast.
Yeah, it's fast and inexplicable because he's not charismatic. I don't know. Maybe he's just more bloodthirsty than everybody else.
I remember as a kid thinking that the Elsa Bloodstone stand-in was the leader of the Resistance.
Yeah, and we find out that I guess every human is tagged,
right,
including John Jameson. It's like, well, that would have been a good way to explain why he's the leader because he just showed up and he's not tagged.
Yeah.
But Spider-Man isn't. And then Spider-Man doesn't join the Resistance. Like in later episodes, it's implied that he's not part of that.
Oh, he's like, I'm a neutral party. And I'm like, no, you're not. What?
He's like, I'm part animal too, all right? So I have a foot in both camps.
Right, that's insane. That's nuts. You just assume that Spider-Man's going to defend them, but he's like, yo, and then maybe you want to follow the Spider-Man trend of sure, great responsibility and power, but at first I'm going to reject it. That's Spider-Man's MO in most adaptations is he goes, whoa, I didn't ask for this. And then he sees an innocence in trouble and he's like, now I'm wholly in.
Yeah.
With this show, he's like, whoa, just because I'm borderline sleeping with my landlord and also the Knights of Wundagore and the Resistance, it's just what is happening?
Yeah.
And who is this guy that claims he's Spider-Man?
Yeah. So yeah, we find out John Jameson is the leader. And then did you forget Venom and Carnage on the show? I sure did until I saw them in my notes. They come across two guards. One of them is like an iguana man. I point him out because I like the design of iguana man.
Yeah.
And they put this really, it's actually surprisingly grotesque, this growth on them that in this episode, it looks different later, but in this episode, it looks like something under their skin. It's really gross. And I guess this is part of the synoptic. Somehow in the 6 months they were there, you know what, fam, don't pay too much attention to the Venom Carnage stuff. It's nonsense. It doesn't really.
It's total nonsense.
Yeah.
They are there to put the action figures in the Ultimate Spider-Man wave from Toy Biz.
Yeah.
That's why they're there.
Yep. And by the way, I just wanted to point out it stands out less when he's talking, but when there's scenes where Carnage is listening to Venom and his mouth is closed, it's fucking nuts. The mouth situation on Carnage in the show is insane.
I hate it.
Yeah. It's like he's got a hand for a mouth. It weirds me out. John Jameson is a prick. I have this in my notes. Yeah. He threatens to shoot Spider-Man to prove that it is Spider-Man. Yeah. And then the base is invaded immediately. What looks like a billion versions of those same two guards from earlier. Now, this might be confusing because we don't know what the synoptic does. So is it like, did it copy them? I think it's just reused animation. It's just, we got these two character designs, and now there's a billion of them. I think is what we're supposed to understand.
That's right.
Lady Vermin's flirting with Spider-Man some more, and she says something like along the lines of like, I always wanted to give my heart to a man that sticks to walls, or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
Venom tries to overtake Spider-Man, like we were meant to be together, which I think confirms like, yeah, this is just the symbiote.
Right. Yeah. He's like, no, it's yeah. And I was like, what? Like, why do you want to do that now?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Spider-Man has Sonics in the suit to take care of the symbiotes, both Venom and Carnage. It also helps take care of the synoptic possessed guards. John is ready to kill. So they defeat these guys, and then John's like, "Yeah, I guess we're gonna have to kill all these bestial prisoners. What are we gonna do?"
God, yeah. And he's like, "No, don't murder them." And he's like, "Well, what do you suggest?" Like,
what other option is there? They're like, "Our base is compromised," and Peter's like, "Your base? They were just here, man. Your base is already compromised.
They're gonna come back."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Okay, fine. We'll play it your way. I guess we'll just leave the door open when we leave." Like. Okay,
yeah, John Jameson's big into war crimes. Also, there's a guy, I never got his name. I have him as bomb guy in my notes because he seems to be big into bombs. He also apparently has a tragic backstory that makes him like way on board with genocide and war crimes. And like the not Elsa Bloodstone's like, well, if what happened to him had happened to you, maybe you'd think it was justified. No, man, no. So. I don't think so.
Was that Bromley? I don't remember any of the characters' names.
Yeah. No, man. Two wrongs don't make a right, all right? So anyway. Spider-Man is... Yeah, okay. Spider-Man is a weird line where John like lashes out of him like, you sound like a textbook on Trotsky, which is like fucking slow your roll, 90s Spider-Man cartoon, okay? We don't need to fucking teach the kids about, or at least get into it more, I guess. And this is where we reveal Spider-Man's the only human without a tag, which I don't know. How did John get tagged? Whatever. Doesn't matter.
So stupid. Yeah.
They give Spider-Man... This is so weird. This show's so fucking weird, Sal. They give Spider-Man money and clothes so he can see the city for himself, to see whether he wants to join the resistance. And meanwhile... And meanwhile, a machine man gets hit by a flying car, which like disorients him. So he's almost gonna kill a little kid until Peter shows up in his civvies and stops it. And this is how he runs into Dr. Naoka Yamada Jones, who helps bandage his hand and ends up becoming his landlady. He's gonna live with her. Not a love interest, by the way. He's still pining for MJ. We have a little. He looks
in this one episode.
In this one episode, he's like, "Remember MJ? I'm gonna come home to you." The end.
Yeah, aren't you sold? Like, wow, this was a book. You know, the audacity of this show is like kind of impressive. It's like, you're welcome.
Yeah, man. I just
like, how about a show now? Like, yeah, we'll be tuning in.
Okay, to not be entirely negative. I really like this costume. This costume looks really cool. It looks really cool.
Yeah,
like to the point where I want to resurrect it somehow. Like, go back to this cosmic Spider-Man in this costume. Is there something there? Is there something?
Yeah, you could. It's funny because it's unlockable in certain Spider-Man games, but I don't think it's in.
I don't think it is in Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man 2,
which is insane. And they in a couple of days, as of this recording, they're going to like release New Game Plus. And like with new costumes, and it's the
they're dog shit. I'm like, what the hell
it's the Mutant Gala. It's like the Mutant Gala costumes, and it's like, are you not Spider-Man Limited, not Sensational Spider-Man? Like, what?
What are we saving these for?
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? Like, I understood you saved all the symbiote variants for when he gets it.
Yeah,
but now what?
Yeah. I'm hoping, there's a speculation in the leaks and whatever, and I try not to put too much emphasis on leaks, for one, because it bumps me out. Like if I was working on something, I wanted to keep it secret, I wouldn't want it leaked, but also because, things change. But if we do get some DLC, it's like, give me a Sensational and give me, All I want is the Ben Reilly Spider-Man costume. That's all I really need. That'd be the only costume I'd have him wear. But an unlimited, I would. And you were right. You pointed out, I can't remember which show we were on that we were talking, and you pointed out like this version has a cape. Like this is a version of the Spider-Man 2099 costume. It has a cape, for crying out loud.
Exactly. Yep.
All right.
It's just 2099. But what's frustrating is in the downloadable for Spider-Man, the video games, no cape for 2099, which I think you need.
And also, I think you got the technology now because one of the unlockable costumes is a Rack Knight, which is his like Moon Knight variant. He's got a cape.
Yeah,
we have the cape technology, and he's even now it's a gimmick. He has the web wings.
Yeah. Just give us a little bit. Like it doesn't have to be like a whole thing. It's not very long. It's more like it's like the top half of a duster.
Yeah. So Sal, where can this is the end of our premiere Spider-Man Limited episode. Where can the kids find you?
Swing by youtube.com/comic-pop and Comic Pop Returns to watch me and my friends talk about comic books and comic book related media all the time.
Please and thank you. You can find me at DJ Talks Trash. If for some reason this episode went out, because this is the first one, and maybe I'll go out as a little taste, and you want the other episodes, you want to hear the rest of our conversations about Spider-Man Limited, you can do that over at patreon.com/onlystupidanswers. If you just listen to the audio version, you can watch the video of it at a higher tier. So check that out, and we will see you all next time.